In this video I'm going to show you how you can get a strawberry patch just like this with little to no work, and how I've managed to maintain it throughout the years with simple gardening techniques that everyone can apply and you can implement yourself, whether you've got a big patch or a small patch. So without further ado, let's get into the video. What's going on YouTube? Luke Kelsall from Growing Nature back with another video. Today I'm going to talk about these strawberries. So I'm going to give you my best tips and how I've managed to achieve a patch just like this and how you can do the same. So let's just get straight into the video. So tip number one, have a covering. A covering is key to growing amazing strawberries with a little amount of work. So every autumn, every fall, I layer a new inch of wood chips over my entire strawberry patch. So this is when the strawberries are starting to go brown and you don't actually want to have them in sight anyway, and you cover them with a 1 inch layer of wood chips. And the idea of this is it helps to basically suppress the current plants that are never going to produce again, the first year plants, and then next year the new runners will push through the new wood chips. So every plant on your patch is a fully producing healthy young strawberry plant. And see, this actually eliminates one of the biggest problems that most gardeners talk about. See, I see a lot of gardeners going through thinning out the brown dead plants and making space for the new ones, but I don't have to do any of that because I just lay the wood chips on top and it happens naturally all by itself. So that's one advantage to the covering, but the second advantage to the covering is how I never have had to water this patch once. And I can show you the water content in these strawberries, it's just unbelievable. And to think I've done that without any watering, it's just again amazing. So I see a lot of people trying to water their strawberry patch heavily to keep them growing, stop them from going brown, but as you can see these are fully vigorous, healthy plants and they're producing heavily. So I'm just going to show you the patch itself right now and take you through picking a strawberry and show you what it looks like inside. So as you can see, it's quite large and vigorous, all very healthy young plants. You can see there's quite a lot of them starting to get red now. I've just spotted a good one over here, so I'm going to go and pick this one. As you can see, that's quite nice. So I pinch it with my fingers there. No, don't rip out the plant like that. Pinch it and just pop off nicely like that. And that's how easy it is to harvest strawberries, and you can see there's a lot of them just starting to go red all over. It's pretty amazing how much production you can get from such a small space, how many strawberries can grow with just so little work. So this is the strawberries harvested. I'm going to show you what it looks like inside and tell you how it tastes. So sweet. If you've never tried a strawberry from your garden, the flavour is completely different to the ones you buy in the supermarket. Then you can see, look at the colour, how red it is. And it's literally dripping with water. And these are just, they're so nice, yet nobody seems to grow their own. They buy them from the supermarket when they're not fully ripe. You've probably never even tasted a strawberry like the ones you'll grow in your own garden. So yeah, that's why you should grow your own, in my opinion, just because of the flavour alone and the amount of nutrients and health in this, and how easy they can be to grow when you do follow the right techniques and start growing with nature. So tip number two, don't fertilise. Fertilising is unnecessary and doesn't need to be done, and in fact it actually makes your plants worse. See, the most natural fertilisation happens in nature at the end of the season when the plants die, and the old ones, the brown ones, will decompose and fertilise the new young ones for next year. You'll see this just like in the fields around me. I don't cut the grass around the fields, and the best fertiliser for the grass is the dying grass from the end of the season. So if I was to go and cut and remove that and spray it, you're not only taking away the best fertilising ingredient away from the land, you're actually putting on something that doesn't need to be there and shouldn't be there. Not only costs you money, it actually produces worse quality plants. So yeah, that's my second tip, and again that is covered with using a covering. A covering is so important, and it almost applies to every area. again, because it just grows with nature. You don't really need to do anything more, don't need to strive for anything more. Nature handles it all, and nature is the answer to growing amazing strawberries like this by using a covering. So tip number 3, encourage wildlife and nature. So as you can see, I've got no netting or no barriers to pests in this patch whatsoever, and I've not had any problems with pest damage or anything like that, as you've seen in the strawberry patch just then. And for birds, the simple solution and the most natural solution is to encourage birds to come in, and they'll pick the strawberries they want and they'll leave. If you're growing enough, it's not a problem. But like I say, even if you only have a few, deterring the birds with a netting isn't actually the answer, because the birds have, yeah, they might be a bit of a nuisance in terms of picking a few strawberries, but they will have their own benefits. For example, they fertilise the ground, they peck up the little bugs you don't want, and they're actually a really good thing to have in your garden. Just by working with nature, you actually do encourage strawberries to grow better, even though it sounds counterproductive, by feeding them strawberries at the same time. So yeah, that's one major thing that I see a lot of gardeners just try and cover the whole patch with netting, and it costs a lot, it looks bad, and it's just not natural. It doesn't need to be done, and if you want amazing strawberries, as I've shown in my patch, it's not necessary to get in that. Tip number 4, create an environment for bees. So bees are essential for having strawberries, and obviously essential for the rest of the garden, because they are the main pollinator in the garden, apart from the self-fertile plants. But bees, if you don't have them, growing strawberries and amazing strawberries is actually not really possible, because unless you have a self-fertile plant, but most strawberries aren't, you need bees to pollinate the flowers and then produce your fruits. So the main ways I encourage bees into my garden is to plant wildflowers around the patch, and just not deter them with any barriers to them at all. I encourage them in with natural growing techniques and working with them rather than against them. So having bees is essential to growing good quality strawberries like this. So tip number 5, choosing the right variety of strawberry for you. So my strawberries, in my opinion, are the best tasting variety. They produce nice, healthy, big red fruits, and they produce at this time of year. There's different varieties of strawberries that produce slightly different seasoning, but it's not much different. But the flavour and the type of fruit varies from plant to plant. So just make sure when you start your patch off, you invest the time into choosing the right variety, or even experiment with a few. You plant a few different varieties and then you just thin out the ones you don't want and then let the other ones grow. So yeah, having the right variety of strawberry is essential to growing your favourite strawberries and the patch that you like the most. Like I said, I've done this with my patch and it grows to anyone's taste. If you like a different one to me, then grow a different variety. But yeah, just make sure you invest the time up front and get the right strawberry, because it'll pay off in the future when you have a full grown patch like this. So the last tip I'm going to give you on how to grow a nice big strawberry patch like this is just to be patient. Being patient is obviously a lot better for you and it's less frustrating, and strawberries are an amazing food and they're perennial, so they never die off. Each year they come back and produce for you again, and the amazing thing about them is they produce runners. So runners it's like the multiplying effect of having strawberries. So for example, this whole patch here was started from 5 or 6 strawberry plants a couple of years ago, and as you can see, it's now fully sized big patch, and I'm actually going to have to reduce the size around the edges at the end of this year. But if I just started off first year, planted off hundreds, I would have wasted a lot of money and a lot of effort, and it didn't need to be done. So yeah, like I say, just be patient, plant a few at the start and let the runners and the nature do the work for you, and grow the size of the patch themselves. So I know it's a bit frustrating to start off with. Like I say, you could go and plant more if you wanted to, but I wouldn't recommend it because you're just wasting money. And also, the strongest plants you're going to get are the runners, because they're most acclimatised to your environment, rather than having to buy every variety and every plant yourself from the start. It just seems a bit counterproductive in my opinion. So yeah, just be patient and you'll get the rewards in the future, and yeah, you'll enjoy the strawberries when they start to grow. So I hope you found this video useful, and I hope you learned some key information that you can apply to your strawberry patch, because I want to get everyone growing their own strawberries like this, because again, nobody's even trying or eating their own proper strawberries, and I think it's a real shame because it's quite a lost art in a way, and I think we all need to get connected back to our food and back to nature, growing our own food. Like I said, the health benefits, the nature, just the all-round principles of growing your own food are really beneficial to everyone. So yeah, hope you like the video, and yeah, please subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my future videos. I'm going to give you a lot more information like this that you can apply to your garden, getting you growing better food. And yeah, so thanks for watching, and see you next time.